Hello, this is Lisa Hazard and Misty Laura with the podcast We're All Psychic. And this is a video podcast on Spotify if you want to watch it. And I'm a cat, but we have a very special guest today. Her name is Bree, and I'm so excited because she's another deck creator. She has created 10 divination decks. So we had an interruption and you saw it. So Bree, do you think we're all psychic?
I do. I definitely feel like a lot of, maybe not everybody, but we all have intuition. We all have this muscle. It's like an intuitive muscle. And the more you use it, the better you are, the more in tune you are, the more psychic you can be. But, everybody doesn't tap in. So I can't say everybody, but yeah, I think a lot of us are psychic.
I agree. Yeah. I agree that, but yeah, they don't tap in. They don't want to, or they are afraid, or they just don't know about it, or they choose not to. I think are the reasons. So, listeners, if you're watching the video podcast, I want to interrupt and explain why I'm dressed as a hoodlum cat, black cat. We're gonna have some cosplay guests from TikTok on here pretty soon. And somebody suggested maybe I should dress up for this podcast for a very good reason. We'll just leave it at that. Her name was Akasha. So Bree is like, I'm so excited, guests. I mean, listeners, and guests. I'm excited about the guests because I'm so excited, listeners. Like, Misty, are you not psyched about this? Like, she has created 10 tarot decks.
I want to get down to
I am like. And, as listeners, if you've been listening or watching, I created my tarot deck, and it took like a long time. So we're talking like, about a lot of different things. And before the podcast, and I was like, well, you have so many questions. She has made 10. So she said she's just going to go through a few and talk about how they have personalities, right? They have personalities.
Right.
Yeah. And I have a lot of questions about the types of decks you've created, because like, what even inspired you to start creating them?
Okay, so my introduction into the occult is the art. I really like tarot art. I like the art that's on the cards. And as an artist, that's kind of what attracted me. I wanted to know more about what the art was saying. So I think that was the first thing that came up. And then with my Doodle Tarot deck, which is one of my most popular decks, it was more so to get more people into tarot, because some people think tarot is very intimidating. It can be very scary. And some people just, are not, they could open themselves up to it, but they won't because they're intimidated by tarot. So that's what inspired that deck.
We had a podcast a while back, the first tarot talk, I think it was, and Misty busts out right in the beginning of at the end of the podcast. She says, y'all, these cards are not the devil.
Right. Exactly.
Do you remember that, Misty? You
Yeah,
do. Yeah. Y'all, I just got to say this. I got to get it out. She says, these cards are not the devil. They help you. They explain things to you and work you through things. And I thought that was really great, and they do. And they do have personality. They're sassy. I use apps. I use a lot of decks. I have a lot of tarot decks sitting over there. That's why I gesture over there. But like which was the first deck you created and why?
So, okay, the first deck that I ever created was I don't want to say rinky dink, but it was cardstock. It was some coloring sheets that I cut out and I colored them. It had a garden theme. So it was like the thorns, watch out. It was like the, different things, the butterflies.
Symbolism's like big for you. Card. You have the symbolism.
It was very cute. And I would start like reading people with them, and my readings were like actually very accurate. So people were like, wow, you're really good at this. So that was the first deck that I created. And then after that, it was a deck called the Vintage Oracle. Ooh. And this was what this one looks like. I'll show you a few cards. So I use vintage like imagery.
Ooh, and it was like Misty, look. Oh, they have words on them. They have words.
Yes, I love incorporating the words on them. And I just use these decks.
She does. That's why I got
excited. This was the first one that I ever created.
That's
so
really
and this one has been reworked at least 3 or 4 times. So
that's awesome.
I do it's like a lifelong thing where if I want to change it, I might change the back and add something different to it, or it's a growing project for me.
It is,
I
and
love
there
that.
and there are different print runs. I have like three or four different versions of this my tarot deck, the Kitty Quest tarot, because I was going through all these print runs, but the one I ended up with is completely different from what I started
Right.
with. Completely different.
Right.
So like, okay, so I want to get down to this like personalities in the deck. My deck's personality is it like when I read it, it's all my cats. They come through. Now sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes I just like I tap into the zone or whatever, and they just talk to me. That's how mine usually do. I kind of have conversations with them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And
that's how they do the same thing with me. Your cards really talk to me.
that's what they
I've
do. They
never-
talk. They have a
They do.
conversation with you. They're like, what do you think about this? And why? And what's going on there? And what's happening next? And it's like really cool. And that's how
Yeah.
they just worked. And I had the deck and wrote the guidebook for 3 years. And that's how I learned like they worked, And luckily I had these castaway decks. I mean, not castaway, they're everywhere still. But all these print runs that didn't work out. But there was just like a lot of really magical moments, and that deck's personality is to have a conversation, really. And
Yeah.
it can be really straight and be really silly and very, very straightforward. Like sometimes when I see like the priest card in my deck is a hierophant or hierophant, and he's like, preach. That's what he says, sometimes, or even inverted, for me, that's like a tarot reader in that deck. He can be a, bad, an unethical guy. But
Mhm.
he's the he just comes along. It's like, what are you doing, priest? I'm doing a tarot reading on myself. I'm literal. They love to be literal. So that's like
Right.
2 characteristics of mine. They want to have a conversation and they like to be literal in a funny way, kind of a pun way. So tell
Mhm.
me about some like one of your favorite ones. So that has
Okay, so I have this mini deck. It's like 100 cards, and it's called the Everyday Oracle, and it has very simple imagery, like this champagne bottle. It says "Celebrate carefully," or this roller skate, and it says "Learn to balance." This
cool.
is the most literal deck that I have ever met, like to the point where I might pull this card and go skating the next week. Like that's how literal the deck is. So it's
I
a
love
metaphor, but it just turns out to be very, very literal for me a lot of times.
Yeah.
So I like
it's
that.
hard to find a literal deck. That's like how mine is literal sometimes. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's good.
Yeah.
I really want that deck. I've been searching for a deck like that.
Yes. Okay. And I was thinking about making this deck a little bit bigger because it's literally tiny cards. But I like
tiny cards. I have small hands.
Yeah.
My cards are 3 by 4 inches because I have tiny hands. So
right. So that one is that one. And then I have another deck that is much bigger. It's the opposite. It's a big deck, right? And this is a deck of spreads. Oh, wow. So this is for when I don't really know what I need to read on, but I feel like I need to read on something. So it gives you the positions of where you need to put the cards and what they mean. For instance, this says current self.
That's brilliant, my friend. That's a brilliant
self,
idea.
Past self, shadow self, higher self. So it's about
and that's so simple.
40 cards. Yeah,
this one is the best idea I've ever heard, and I can't believe I haven't seen cards before, because that is a great. Because I'm like, I need to ask a question, and I just kind of go, but I would love that. Where do I start? Sometimes I'll start with an oracle deck, but that's perfect. That's where I would rather start.
Here,
yeah.
So good.
I definitely want to make oracle cards and tarot cards and divination tools accessible to people. Like, I love this podcast name, We're All Psychic.
We are.
So for everybody who can use these things and not feel intimidated by it.
Yes, and understand it right off.
Right.
That's what I like.
Yes. And like most of the cards in my tarot deck are just like really happy cats, like chilling out.
Right.
And even they're silly. I mean, let me see. I'm sure I can find a silly one in like a heartbeat. Like, here's my 3 of swords, right? He's like,
yes, that's so cute.
Yeah, I know. They're all like just adorable. And here's a little Morgana as an angel.
That's my
it's my
favorite.
friend's card, but she's yeah, I just love the silly, like there's a lot of silly ones in there anyway.
So can I ask a question? Do you feel like there's a difference when you're reading with your own deck rather than reading with another deck? Like,
Good question.
are you more connected?
sometimes I wasn't until I got this print run.
Mm-hmm.
Print run really resonates with me more than any of the other ones have. And
Mm-hmm.
some of them did, and some of them were better than others. And this one, I was really surprised when it resonated as well as it did with me and just worked. Like
Mm-hmm.
I was doing a reading the other, like this morning actually, and the Princess of Pentacles came up. And in this deck, she is, if I can find her while we're talking, she is a cat. All these are cats I have lived with. Here's a picture of her. She wanted to show off this one. That's Aria. She's a cat. These
Yeah.
are all cats I lived, I've had in my life. And
Mm-hmm.
she's like up against a wasp. That's just a picture I took, and it's the 9 of wands.
Right.
Learned about the wasp, but she's the Princess of Pentacles. And what I did in my deck is I separated the knights and into princes and princesses, just the 4 though.
Mm-hmm.
And Aria, if you know that, do you know traditional tarot pretty well? So
I do. Yeah.
so like the Knight of Pentacles is Aria, and she's the
Mm-hmm.
Princess of Pentacles, and she is in my life, and in the
Mm-hmm.
guidebook, she's the protector of the family. She spent all her time outside protecting. And I couldn't
Mm-hmm.
figure out what she meant in this spread I was doing. So I looked in my own guidebook because I don't remember it. And I was like, protector. And it had occurred to me before, but I checked the guidebook, right? Like it occurred to me. And then I checked the guidebook. I was like, oh, it is it's me being protective in this case,
Right.
So I was like, yeah, that's so like that does resonate with me. But there's
Mm-hmm.
some decks that resonate with me in different ways. I have a ton of tarot decks. I love
Mm-hmm.
so many, and I have my go-tos that I do for professional readings for different people sometimes. Do you have
Yeah.
that?
I think that I use my decks as much personal and professional, but I do cleanse them a lot in between, and I kind of do like I'll rotate them. So I might not use this one as much today. I might, so yeah, I do
I'll rotate
rotate.
them. I'll have
Mhm.
usually when I do a reading, I'll use about 3 or 4 decks if it lasts an
Mhm.
hour or so. So I don't know, and I
Yeah.
imagine you could too with the ones. So like, show me another deck. I want to see.
Okay, so
Are you
this one is
Missy?
the one that a lot of people ask me about the most. It is my tarot deck, and it has like a plain composition back and a lined front as if you were writing notes on the deck,
Wow.
and have like
Oh.
different images, and then in reverse in red it has like the reversals on it as well.
Neat.
So that one, I use this one the most out of all of my decks because it's like the one that I feel speaks the clearest to me. And I don't know if it's just because I'm a very like just straight to the point. Let me read it. Let me not look into the imagery. But of course, the imagery is still there. There's still images to kind of read and take.
I am just like that.
So,
Yes. I would rather get straight to the point too. Yeah.
And I want to relate to that because my first deck for many, like 10 to 15 years was the Osho Zen deck, and I never learned the traditional tarot until I did.
Mhm.
And the Osho Zen, the only reason I could read is because it had words on it. It did have imagery,
Right.
and
Yeah.
I did use it sometimes, but it was the words that worked for me.
Right.
Yeah.
And then another thing I noticed with this deck, because I did reuse some of the images, say the hand, I used a lot of different hands. I used a lot of different, like the crossroads is on the Lover's card, but it's also on like the is it the Two of Swords? So it's different cards that have like different same imagery. And I noticed that in a reading, those cards will pop out in sets. So it'll be those images that repeat themselves in a reading. So I think that kind of helps me tie together a reading really easily. And I like this deck the most, honestly. I love you all decks.
I've loved every one you've shown me. Oh my gosh. Where can people find them and you?
So I have a website. It's magicallybree.com. I am kind of active on Instagram and TikTok. I post when I feel like it. So I'm not consistent like that. But I am consistent on posting on my blog, on my website. It's not really a blog, but I'm going to incorporate more of that blog aspect as well.
Okay.
So
And how much
magicallybree.com.
Missy,
How much are
Yep.
yeah, Missy's got a question. How much do you charge for those
Yeah.
cards?
Oh, so they vary. They're like, I think my most expensive deck is like 45 or 50
Wow, that's
right now.
great. That is
So
great.
yeah.
I had to charge a
And I
lot
think
for
the
mine.
smallest one is like 20, like the cheapest is like 20 something.
I'm getting
Okay.
some. I
Yeah.
had to I could only print, I only could afford to print 100 decks, or 113. I gave away, kept 13. But I had, because I could only afford a small print run,
Mhm.
and with something that worked, I had to kind of charge a lot for them, which kind of,
Right.
I don't like doing it.
So have you heard
Gotta
of
do it.
makeplayingcards.com? Because I
Yeah,
think
but the
that's
reason I have
that's
made
good.
a deck with them, with the
Uh-huh.
cards, but
Yeah.
I didn't read about it before. I just started one day and I made them 3
Mhm.
by 4. And 3 by 4 is a really hard ratio, and there's no cards that are already like that.
Yeah.
So I had to do a lot of work, and Make Playing Cards only has that, like, well, they have some poker.
That once. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean there's some ideas there. I mean look into that, but ooh, you just gave me some ideas, girl. Thank you.
Yes, you
So
need
yeah,
to.
like
So
I
they
would like to
have so
create
many
more
different
decks.
sizes. And
Yeah.
they also have different shapes, like circles, squares. So it's a lot of different options.
Right.
Cool.
And I would
Mhm.
like to recommend listeners, if you're creating your own deck, look at size options from different companies before you really
Mhm.
get settled in, because I didn't do that and
Yeah.
I regret
Yeah,
it.
that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I wish I had looked into that traditional tarot size. I was
Right.
just like, I'm doing this right now. And I
Right.
just stuck
Right.
to that ratio. I figured it wouldn't be that difficult, but it was,
Hmm.
you know?
Right. Well,
Yeah,
that's how
that
you
is
learn.
the most difficult part, I think.
Yeah. So do you
You
have any
gotta learn.
advice for anyone creating a deck, or?
Yeah, I would say have a list of things in mind that kind of will correlate. Like when I first started with the garden theme deck. So different things correlated to different things. You know what I'm saying? Like, so have a list of ideas already in mind. So when you're creating a deck, unless you're making a system that's already out there, like a tarot deck, or I just made a Lenormand. It's still printing right now, which is this is actually a different type of deck for me, because it's the first deck that I hand drew all of the cards. And so it's kind of like I'm excited to see like my art, like, because these are more like graphic designs. You
That's
get
what
what I'm
these
saying?
are,
This one,
graphic design.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Wow,
I'm
that's
excited
so
about that one.
cool. That is so cool. I've wondered
Yes.
if I could do that too, Misty. I bet you could. You're pretty artistic.
Good.
Mhm.
I'm not very, I have a hand tremor and I can't control my hand very well, but Misty, you've done a lot of art. I bet you could do like a little, I bet you could
Right.
do a Lenormand deck. You should try it, Misty. Do it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have
Misty, you
time.
have homework. Misty, you have homework. You have to make a Lenormand
And
deck.
I really like
Okay, I'll have
that
it
system is
tomorrow.
very that system is very like straight to the point. I like reading with them as those cards.
I'm still
They tell
learning. It's kind of wrapping my head around it. I love it every time I play with. I do the grand tableau almost every time, and I'm just like, I'll sit there for a while.
Yes.
So let me know when your
Yeah.
Lenormand comes out. Or how do you pronounce
Yes.
it? Leonard.
I don't know how you pronounce that. I'm kind of country, so
I am
I said
too.
Lenormand.
I think I might have Googled it and heard a few different ones, and I was like, Lenormand sounds exotic, but oh, I did have a
that sounds exotic. Yeah.
right.
Yeah, I like
Yes, we had about divination, the first one and the last one, same one. The who had the divination, deck podcast. She said Lenormand, but she's from England,
Uh-huh.
so they pronounce it there. I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know how it's pronounced
Cool.
either. For
Yeah.
sure. I guess everyone does it differently.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, right now, I'd love to thank our sponsor, Everclear. And Everclear is an advice app. You can get your advice from psychics and empaths, where you can get the clarity you need to create the life that you deserve. And Bree is on there. Bree, you're on Everclear, right? What is your name?
Yes.
Everclear.
It's just Bree, Bree.
Do you have a last initial or anything?
Just Bree.
Bree. All right,
Just
good.
Bree.
Okay, I'll put all your information in the podcast description, listeners, if you want to get in touch.
Okay, my son wants to guest star. He says that
Thanks,
you look
son.
really beautiful.
Let
He
me see
likes
how
your
big-
makeup.
Hi, what's your name?
Say hi.
Hi, meow. Meow.
Look, here.
You see my tail? This is my tail. I put a tail on just for you. I knew you'd be here, so I put a tail on. I mean, why
That's
else
right.
would I put a tail on?
Yes. All
Thank
right. Thanks, son. Close my door.
you. Oh, I saw someone peeking. A daughter.
Yes, girl.
Peeking. I'm getting on this.
Yeah, they got to be
I
in the
love it.
mix all the time. They
I
got to
bet.
be where I'm at. So
That's
I
so
love that.
great.
Oh, well.
So yeah, I'll put your information in the description of the podcast. And listeners, of course, I want to say thank you for listening as always, or watching if you're watching this video podcast on Spotify. And if you want to be a guest, let me know, Lisa at we'reallpsychic.com. And any last words there, Bree, for the listeners?
I do. If you want to make a deck for yourself, it's very simple. All you really need is some index cards and a marker and go to work. I have a deck that I hand wrote. It's very, very, very simple. It's
I
a
have
bunch
one.
of cards and
Yeah.
it's very easy to read with. It seems to be like coming from your own voice. So it's like
Yes.
you're speaking to yourself. So it's
Yes.
simple things that you can write on here. And yeah, you don't have to spend a lot of money to read cards, y'all. You just
No.
gotta want to do it.
$3 or less. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
That's right. That's
Yep.
right, man. That's awesome. And you can always get a tarot app. I highly endorse tarot apps. They work.
Yes.
They're
Yeah,
magical. And they all have personalities too. They do have
Yeah.
personalities. Those apps do. Like the Galaxy Tarot app. I go on and on about that one. It's like my
Yeah.
go-to for myself. It will talk to me. I think it's the
Yes.
AI in the phone though. I don't know. But on that cliffhanger, maybe we'll have an AI podcast sometime. So thank you so much, Bree.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
And
That's
Misty, of
great.
course.
Pleasure.
And listeners, thank you as always. Thank you, sponsor. And y'all have a great time anywhere you are. And I hope you enjoyed this podcast. Thank you so much.
Thank
Goodbye.
you. Bye.
Bye.